like, wait, Aaron Rodgers is doing like a full-length interview? And shout out to Pat for the free agency special that we're going to get on Monday. Shefty's going there. Schrager's going there. They got everything going on, noon until 3 Eastern time on ESPN, Pat and the crew on Monday. So Rodgers is on with Pat yesterday and AJ and company, and he says there hasn't been any deadline or contract situation right now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let's hear what Rodgers had to say.
Well, I mean, what are we sitting here? It's March 4th. Free agency starts in a week. I've been spending a lot of time with my wife. We went on a ski trip. Just been laying low. There's a lot of other things going on with the situation in Malibu that have changed some things. But I've talked to Mike. I've talked to Omar. There's been no deadline that's been put in front of me. There's no contract, offer or anything. So there's nothing that I'm, having to debate between. I'm free agent, and again, I'm enjoying my time with my wife and enjoying this part of the off season.
All right, so let's first try to do this as if we have never done this before, even though we do this every year now, right? And even though he didn't love the idea of the way Favre handled things at the end, is the same way he's handling things, right? But football-wise, is he waiting for the Steelers, or is he waiting for someone else, or is he waiting to retire? What do we think? Like, what is he waiting for? Or is it like, I need to make sure Kevin O'Connell doesn't call me in Minnesota before I make any kind of decision here? What do we think it is?
Well, that was a factor last season, obviously, in his decision-making. He wanted to make sure that before he committed to the Steelers that he knew everything that was on the table, retirement included. And I do respect taking your time, because he knows he's got a finite amount of time left in his football life. So he wants to make the best decision for him and obviously his family, because he keeps referencing his wife. However, this whole, is he or isn't he going to Pittsburgh? Is he or isn't he retiring? We're all in limbo waiting on Aaron Rodgers' decision. I don't know if I can do it again. I don't know if we can do it again. Do we really have this in us one more time to sit here and wait for months? The brass from the Steelers at the Combine said it's not going to be the same as last year. It's not going to take as long. I can promise you that.
I don't care what they said. I care what Adam Schefter said. And Adam said that. Meaning they could give us lip service. Adam gives us reporting.
That it's not going to take this long?
Yeah, Adam said it's not going to be like last year. He said mid-March, if I'm not mistaken, on the podcast, on the Adam Schefter podcast.
And we're at the beginning of March.
Right.
So we'll see what happens in mid-March. All I'm saying is he's speaking his truth. He was asked a question. He said there's no deadline, et cetera. He's giving you the details. But also, it's setting up and sounding like it did last year, where he took his time. So if mid-March comes and goes and we don't have a decision from him yet, I'm going to think that this is going to be a prolonged thing.
You two are so very kind. And so, like looking to see the best in people and talking about the football reasons that Aaron Rodgers is doing this.
Tried.
And is he looking at the Vikings? Is he looking at the scheme and the personnel? This is Aaron Rodgers doing the Aaron Rodgers thing. He does not thinking about that. He is thinking about the news. He's thinking about, I want to be the center of attention. We have been doing this for damn near a decade with Aaron Rodgers, where he is going to draw this out for as long as humanly possible, no matter where he actually wants to go, because this is Aaron Rodgers. We are in the Aaron Rodgers cyclone right now. He's doing the McAfee thing. He's going to be doing whatever else to sort of be in the news as much as possible. This is about just being the center of attention and being in the center of the Aaron Rodgers universe. I want off. He ain't good enough for that right now. He's not good enough to demand that level of attention, to be the guy that we're doing the will he or won't he thing, when he probably, the only will that we know is that this dude is going to drag us out as long as humanly possible.
All fair, all justified, all based on track record and evidence. I will only add this one thing, though, David. He can only drag it on if teams allow him to. And what I mean by that is, like, I bring up all the time, when Nico Harrison with the Mavericks made the trade of Luka, you can only make that trade if someone signs off on it, right? So there's other places for blame.
Yeah, you can't execute that in a silo.
And you can't drag on your decision if there's nowhere to play. So in other words, if the Pittsburgh Steelers say, Aaron, we want you, but we want you by March 11th, and if that's not the case, on March 12th, we're moving on. Minnesota Vikings, if they all of a sudden on the first day of free agency sign Kyler Murray, there's no spot for him. He can only drag this on if we allow him to. If teams allow him to. Not us in the media. If there are no job, if ZipRecruiter posts all of the openings for QBs and there are none, there's no way he can drag it on. The teams allow him to drag it on. They deserve blame too in this.
Yeah, they do, and they keep doing it. I don't understand why Aaron Rodgers demands this level of attention from the teams as well. Like, I still do not understand why the Pittsburgh Steelers put all their eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket. I do not understand why he has this sort of hypnosis over teams to where they will derail their entire offseasons and have been doing this for years past the point where Aaron Rodgers has deserved it, to try to make sure that this dude is accommodated in the offseason. I don't know why anybody's doing it this year. I don't know why they did it last year, but yet and still, they still do it, and you're absolutely right. They deserve all kinds of blame and all kind of, for me, just personal angst because I'm tired of it, but they deserve a lot of the flack for allowing Aaron Rodgers to get away with this.
Okay, so the team he was allegedly waiting for last year was the Minnesota Vikings. They elected to go with J.J. McCarthy. How'd that work out?
Not well.
Not
as you
well.
predicted, to your credit.
Not well. So are we blaming teams for giving him the space to drag it out? Sure. But I think the reason why they do it is because even though he's not peak Aaron Rodgers, there's a level of consistency there. You know, to some level, from a football standpoint, what you're going to get from him. And the other teams that have elected to go in other directions, it was worse than what you would get from Aaron Rodgers. So he's clearly not the long-term solution. And at this stage in the game, based on the production, is he worth all the drama? Perhaps not. But also the alternative could be really bad.
Yeah. So
you're trying to win football games to save your job. Look how many guys got fired this year.
Yeah.
If you're a head coach, at least with Aaron Rodgers, you know there's a certain floor. You know what to expect with him.
I think if you took out the name and the history and you just looked at, there is a quarterback with these numbers that played in 2025 that is interested in continuing to play in 2026. He is better numerically than most of the guys we talk about as, could this team get that guy? Could this team get this guy? Just simply numerically, the 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, the completion percentage being 14th in the league. Like, is he the best quarterback in the league? No. But there are some stats, not all, some stats that would lead you to think maybe he could be better than an alternative. All of the information, the context that David Dennis Jr. put around it would then lead you towards, why are you waiting for all of this? But it's not on Rodgers, and to me, as much as it's on the teams for creating those openings that he could potentially fill. All right, coming up, an all-pro is out, but could another one be in? We'll discuss next. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
NBA Sunday.